All right, and we are back with a new episode of Real in the Field, coming off a hot episode with Mike Walters, that last one. If you haven't already heard it, go back and check it out. It's a great episode, and we got some fan mail from that. Shout out to Emily, who reached out and wanted to say hi, and she remembered Mike Walters.
That was great. She remembered Mike, pieced it together, looked for Mike, and found the episode and reached out to us, so that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So shout out to Emily. A lot of stuff going on in the NFL, a lot of changes. What's new? What's going on?
Well, first let's talk about the possible rule changes.
Okay.
Before we get into free agency, but the possible rule changes, the biggest one that is kind of on the chopping block is the kickoff change.
Okay, kickoff change.
Yeah, so what they're going to do is, so the XFL and the USFL, well, but mainly the XFL did this. They changed their kickoff, and the NFL might adopt it. So they might get rid of the traditional, we kick off, our guy's awesome, he kicks in the end zone.
Yeah.
Because no one really returns kickoffs anymore.
No, now it's become just
like a ceremonial
formality.
play.
Yeah, this is the rule, this is what we have to do. The kickoffs have been less and less, like Devin Hester is no longer in the league, and that was like the last kind of that was the last of the Mohicans.
That's a great example. Yeah. So the way that they're gonna change it is, so the receiving team will be on their 35.
On their own 35, okay.
Right. Okay.
And that's moved up from where they were at previously, 25, 20?
No, so the receiving team. So
all
10 dudes, all 10 guys will be lined up on the 35.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
They'll have one returner.
Okay.
The kickoff team will then be 5 yards away. They'll be on the 40.
Okay.
They'll have 10 guys lined up.
Oh, just so like dodgeball?
Literally like me in front of you, me in front of you, me in front of you, like all spread out.
Yeah.
Kicker's down over there. Kicker kicks it off. Okay. Once the ball hits the target zone.
Okay.
Okay. So like the 20-yard line and the ball's like caught.
Yeah.
The play starts.
And that's when all the players can
go. Yeah, then you can go.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, look it up on the XFL kickoff. So that's the one that the NFL is going to vote on.
Right.
Of doing it or not.
They're modeling it after the XFL kickoff.
Yeah.
I can't say that I've ever seen the XFL kickoff. It's
pretty cool. It gives you more of a chance to make a play.
Well, it seems like we've all done kickoff return. I was never
a fan.
Dude, that is arguably one of the most like vicious like parts of the game. You're talking about getting a 40-50 yard head start, running full speed, and the collisions there. I remember just like those are some of the most like gnarly collisions that I've ever experienced playing football. It was so it's bad.
So speaking of those collisions, so the NFL always wants to make it safer.
Right.
So this is going to limit the space.
Yeah.
Right. But it also gives them a chance to maybe create a dynamic play to get people to, a little bit more excited for it.
If this were like a grocery store and you had like a shelf with products, that's the product that has the least amount of like activity.
Yes.
There's not a lot of activity that goes on the kickoff.
But it used to.
Yeah. When kickers were just, when they couldn't kick to the end zone, or when before they moved it up, and they moved it up for safety years ago. They moved up the kickoff to make it safer for players. But like we said earlier, it's just become a formality now.
Yeah.
You kick off, you get the ceremonial. You know what's kind of like bumped me too? Like remember like years past, the kickoff, you would see all the flashing lights in the stadium. You don't see that anymore.
No.
It's all cell phones with no the camera, the throwaway cameras where you just like
right. Yeah. Well, even back in the day, if the ball went in the end zone, you had to go down it. Right? Remember, you would catch it and take it.
Have to.
Now it's like literally the ball goes over the guy's head. He puts his arms out like this, and
the ref just starts
to the sideline. And the ref just starts blowing it dead. Like, all right, guys, let's go. Like,
yeah.
So what they're gonna try to do to kind of combat this, that like make it more exciting.
Right.
If you kick off and you do your traditional kickoff and you like kick it out,
the
offense gets the ball in the 35.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's a 10 yard difference.
It's like, we don't really want to do that. However, if you kick it off and you make it in the target zone,
Okay.
and then it rolls through the end zone for a touchback,
Yeah.
they get the ball on the 20.
Oh,
So now you're enticing guys to kick the ball
a little bit more finesse.
Yes, kick the ball and like let's make a play now.
This is they've taken cornhole and and mixed it in.
Yeah, so now you're changing the incentive
Right.
of, oh god, do we really kick it deep and give them on the 35? Like let's
That
try it.
changes
But now
the
they
strategy altogether. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's kind of what they're going to vote on it, and then the last one with kicking is onside kicks only in the fourth quarter and only if you're trailing.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
what about like if you've got you're going in before half and you have an opportunity to, they're going to do away with that altogether.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know how I feel about that one.
So
I
I think they're two separate like voting like
Okay.
rules. So
Yeah.
the new kickoff and then that onside kick. Those are the two like kind of latest ones that are making some waves.
So potentially they could accept the new kickoff, but then keep the old onside.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, unless it kind of it messes with the.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna take one, you might have to get the other. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the new kickoff, like again, if you haven't seen it, just Google or go on YouTube and look up an XFL kickoff.
Well, okay. Well, let's. What if we went back to what was the league where you had to like wrestle for the ball?
That was the original XFL. That was the Vince McMahon.
Okay, Vince
XFL.
McMahon. Little
He
bit
hate
of
me on the back of the jersey. Remember that guy? Yeah. So, but they're a little bit
so
more.
they're not going that extreme.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
evolved a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not mad at the if this rule does end up going in, because it's become just kind of just a formality. It's become something that, when you kick off a game, it used to mean something. You didn't want to miss the kickoff because you didn't want to miss like what was going to happen if someone was going to run it back.
And you had a returner that was like dangerous, and
Yeah,
you put
you
your
put somebody
best
back
dudes out
there.
there to block, and you had to scheme up blocks and stuff. And now it's just
Oh yeah. Now it's just it's just something that that goes on. It's like, all right, let's get through the kickoff because we need to get the offense on the field. So it's become like, again, if this was shelf space in a grocery store, none of the products moving on that shelf. So if you want to like kind of get something going and make it a little bit more exciting, I just wouldn't want it to become. I mean, look, with change, it's different than what we've known for the past, however long we've been watching football. And it's going to be different. It's going to take some time to get used to it. If it's something that just kind of bumps you so much, I think the NFL is always about like kind of consistency, continuity, and not like making these big changes that make the game so much different than what we've experienced.
Yeah, but there's been changes along the way of football of where the head slap, they had to get rid of that, right? The
Deacon Jones.
Yeah, Deacon Jones, right?
Yeah.
The Mel Blount, like rerouting the receiver up on the line and grabbing guys and doing different.
Or
you know what
cut
I mean?
blocking. Cut blocking if you're engaged.
Blindside blocks.
Blindside blocks, cut blocking if you're engaged, and like you disengage and then cut block. And that all comes from, I feel like it's for all player safety. Yeah.
Right. Helmet to helmet stuff. I think this literally is just falls in line with the trajectory of the way the game is going. I think this would be the next natural step to where it's safe and it's going to keep it somewhat exciting.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit more of that finesse. Like now kickers have to figure out where that sweet spot is and really dial in if the coach is asking for this, how to deliver it.
Yeah, and where to put it and maybe angle your kicks or something. Like,
do that change
the way? Yeah, it could open up a whole bunch of different.
Well, it changes the way
things.
you draft. It changes the way that you look at kickers, and now you have to like kickers are going for distance, and they've been going for distance, but this is going to change it. Now you need that distance, but you also need that finesse. You need to have that that pitching wedge in there to get it like in a specific spot, not just your driver.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah,
and I think it would be an easy fix. Try it for a year. And if it's doo-doo, next year just vote back in the old one.
Yeah,
and it's
but
not,
the NFL
and it's not
isn't like to the NFL's credit, they aren't flippant about doing these changes. They don't just kind of willy-nilly start messing with things.
Very true.
Like the way that they go about doing all these changes is they're for purpose. And if we're going to do it, we need to stick with it. They're not the like, hey, try it out, figure it out for a season. If it doesn't work, let's just kind of like etch a sketch and go back. Like, I think they are a little bit more precious with it. You know what I mean? So if they do make this, I can see it actually not even getting accepted. You know what I mean? Because that's that is a big change. You're talking about upending the entire kickoff. I mean, I can't say that I wouldn't like to see it, but I just find I would. It might be a little difficult for the for the
traditionalist.
The purist, the traditionalist, what we've known. It's going to change the entire look of kickoff. And then when you think about, and this might, I'm sure it'll get brought up, like people when they tune in, and this is the start of the entire game. It's what we most know and what we've watched time after time.
Yeah.
And it's become kind of like tradition, or it's become, it's literally kick off like that. That's become like a word to just mean this is the start of everything that we do. And it's such a big thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too precious about it, but I don't know. Maybe I think the NFL might not want to make that change.
Punt's staying the same. PAT, field goals are all staying the same. I wouldn't mind seeing it happen.
Yeah. I'm with you. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
That's just my.
I could see there being some pushback from the owners and just from everybody just saying like, let's not be too, go too far and change the whole game or change the whole like look of, what we've known for so many years.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think when you say, let's take what the XFL has done, I think that alone is like, well, I don't know if we should follow that business model.
Well, you gotta, even a bad business or a bad whatever, there's got to be a sliver of good in there, right? Yeah. And so you can't be so pompous to be like, oh, well, we're the NFL, we can't come on, dude. It might be a good idea. It might happen.
Yeah,
it might work for you.
Yeah, work.
We'll see.
Yeah,
but those are the two. So I wanted to kick off the podcast with that. That was terrible.
Nice.
Next thing, we're going to talk about some free agency. Okay, we got a list here of the top 100 free agents. So this week, guys are being moved around or stayed put.
Yeah.
Right, they got a new contract.
Yeah.
We've highlighted a couple guys. We're just going to talk about them briefly. So DeAndre Swift, he's leaving the Eagles. He's going to the Bears, and Eagles fans are all upset about it. I think Swift is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a game changer.
Yeah.
But good for the Bears. The Bears got to figure out their quarterback situation, if they're going to draft Caleb Williams or if they're going to hold on to Justin Fields, what they're doing. I mean, time's kind of clicking on that. They need to kind of figure it out.
They need to make a decision here.
Yeah.
Dude, Caleb Williams, that's, there's been that every year you get the hype. Everyone's like the most prolific quarterback coming out of college. But it's just they haven't been tested. They haven't played an NFL game.
Different game.
Is it different? Like different even game. Going from like high school to college or JC, whatever. Like when you step up and you got the like most elite athletes that are playing against you, it's a different game.
Yeah.
I don't know how that guy's gonna do. I hate getting like when people and pundits get all kind of like the fervor around a quarterback and saying that he's gonna be the next best thing.
Yeah.
All for him to kind of fizzle out. You know what I mean?
Okay, you're the Bears GM. Do you hold on to Justin Fields or do you go Caleb Williams?
Man.
Or you don't necessarily have to go Caleb Williams. You go somebody else. But let's just use those two guys as an example.
Well, I mean, it's Justin Fields is that's a tough one. I mean, he's kind of, I don't want to say injury prone, but he's gotten some injuries. He hasn't exactly like turned out to be the quarterback that you wanted him to be. Is that offensive line? Is that receiving core? Is that is it other things, or is it just him not being that guy? That's tough. And then with Caleb Williams, it's all uncertainty. You do know some things that Justin Fields can do, and he's even without all of the stats and all that, he's done some pretty good things. You get some offensive linemen, get him some protection, find him a running back.
What do you do?
Oh man, I don't know if I roll the dice. I don't know. I think that they're in okay shape with Justin Fields.
So you're keeping him.
I'd probably keep him.
I'd keep him too. I'd keep Justin Fields. I wouldn't. I haven't liked what I've seen out of Caleb Williams and the whole like. I don't know. It's just. I don't.
It's just
there's something about that dude where he doesn't pass the sniff tests. For me,
yeah.
Like he went to the combine and just like he just went and did interviews like he was a comedian, like on tour. Like he just went around and he didn't throw, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Right. Painted his fingernails like F you to like Utah and all that stuff. Like crying in the stands and stuff during after games. Like I don't know. There's something about that dude that just doesn't sit with me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is yet, and I could be wrong, but there's something there that I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. I mean, he's got the stats speak for themselves. We've been burned by stats before, you know. I mean, there's been actually a lot of USC quarterbacks we've been down that road before. Matt Leinart is the one that comes to mind, and he was a stud at USC, and then came out Heisman Trophy winner. He was dude, that run during those whole years at Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, those were like some of the most like memorable college football games. They
were so good.
They were so loaded. Legit. Lendell White, dude, Reggie Bush, that combo. But coming out of that, you would expect like Matt Leinart to do these great things. Instead, he goes to Arizona and just kind of lays an egg. And I don't know, man. Like everybody thought coming into it, I don't even like. He fell in the draft, from what I remember. Didn't he fall like?
Can't remember, but I will give a USC quarterback who had a really good career, Carson Palmer.
Oh right? Yeah.
So there is that.
But Rancho Santa Margarita Eagle.
That's right. That's right. One of the best Orange County high school football games of all time. Santa Margarita against Tustin.
Yeah.
Carson Palmer against Deshaun Foster.
Deshaun Foster.
Congratulations to Deshaun. Deshaun's a great guy.
Oh, dude, he got the
UCLA job. Deshaun's a great dude. When he comes by and recruits, he's like super nice and.
He was awesome. I remember him coming down. I don't know if it was at Elmo or if he came down to like a Chiefs game, but I remember just him showing up and just being like, holy shit, that's Deshaun Foster.
Yeah. He's a really cool guy, man. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Next, Gabe Davis, receiver, played for the Bills. He went to the Jags. I think that's good for the Jags.
I think that's
Trevor
great
Lawrence for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
He needs. So I think that one's good. Tony Pollard, the Cowboys. Couldn't get him back, or maybe they let him go.
By the way,
he's going to Tennessee.
Okay, he's going to Tennessee. So
I think he'll do fine there. He'll be okay.
Derrick Henry left Tennessee. He's out of Tennessee.
Derrick Henry's the next cat up. Left Tennessee, ends up in Baltimore, which I think is great.
Oh my God, that's good for.
I think that's going to work out for them.
Yeah,
I think that's a little bit more his. I don't want to say style, but I think that's going to be a great fit.
Dude, talk about a downhill runner. That guy is
be a great
all
fit.
Downhill.
With Lamar and stuff.
So, all right, Cowboys have done absolutely nothing.
Well, not yet.
Not yet, but I mean, make some moves here.
Jerry's just waiting to go all in. Did you see that? That's what he was saying. He was like, we're ready to go all in. Everyone's like, go all in about what?
Dude, just go half in, go a quarter in, just do something. I think fans like are just waiting for something to happen, and everyone's just kind of like, well, okay, who's left? What are you gonna take? Odell Beckham Jr.?
Well, dude, there's some guys left. You never know. Your Rams, got Jonah Jackson, who's he was a really good offensive guard for the Lions.
Dude, he was really solid. Yeah.
So
he was
3 years,
really good.
$51 million.
I hope it's worth it. He was a solid guard and dude, that line. I mean, we talked about it like during.
The Lions line was legit.
They were legit. Yeah. So if you're gonna, I mean, that's very odd to say, like, but if you're gonna get players from the Lions, like you're doing okay.
That's true.
And and kudos to Les Snead, Sean McVay for like investing in the offensive line. I think that's like it's always been the unsung hero of NFL football. The offensive line has always been like it's the most crucial, most critical, but it's always the the one that the guys that get the least credit.
Yeah.
And so, you know what, 51 mil, I'll gladly pay a couple extra bucks for a beer.
There you go.
Actually, just maybe do it on a hot dog or something because the beers we're tapped out. We are at max.
Hey, it worked out for the Dodgers. They got Ohtani.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So the Bucks, I love this. The Bucks kept Mike Evans, the receiver, and Baker Mayfield.
Baker coming in, cashing his check.
$115 million for 3 years.
Jesus.
Can you believe that?
You think he deserves it?
No. Not in the least bit. Not in the least bit. That
Dude,
dude,
but did you see that game, that Thursday night game against the Raiders when this was a couple years ago when he was playing against playing with the Rams.
when he came back and won?
It was huge. It was amazing.
Well, I understand that.
Dimes.
I understand that, and we're going to talk about this with a couple other guys later here.
Yeah.
But like, dude, to be the quarterback and you have Super Bowl aspirations, is Baker Mayfield a Super Bowl quarterback?
He'll win you some games. He'll will his team.
Is he a Super Bowl quarterback?
No, he's not.
Because you're investing 3 years. You're investing the next 3 years, thinking that guy can at one point can get you there.
Dude, for as much as he's bounced around, I think the real winner here is his agent, who has who somehow got this contract worked out for him, a 3-year deal. With, let's be honest, he doesn't have a pedigree of being that kind of quarterback.
I love his progressive commercials. When he was with the Browns, those were awesome.
Those are really good.
Those are great.
That's worth maybe about 10 mil.
Yeah.
10 mil of that 110 mil.
But Mike Evans, that guy gets 1,000 yards receiving every year. I think 2-year deal for him is great.
No
he's
doubt.
so good.
He's so good.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Dude,
with that.
how about, I don't know if this is even on the list, but Saquon Barkley, how about him going to the Giants? Did you hear that whole kerfuffle with him and Tiki Barber?
Well, he's at Philly.
Oh, sorry.
Left the Giants and went to Philly.
Yeah.
And
Did you hear about the whole Tiki Barber,
you're dead to me?
You're dead to me?
I guess, yeah.
Dude, this is the NFL. It's a business.
I know.
Don't take it so personal. And also, he's going to go out and get his money. And
I think that is huge for the Eagles.
Oh, of course.
I know Swift was good, but I think Saquon with Jalen and just fresh blood in there,
Well, now you have a 2 running back combo, between Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, because that guy, I mean, what Christian McCaffrey is to San Francisco, Saquon Barkley, I think, will be to Philadelphia. He'll be that playmaker and that kind of just prolific running back on that team.
That's a very good prediction. 2 guys left we need to talk about. Number 1, Kirk Cousins leaving the Vikings, headed to hot Atlanta.
Dude, that was it. 180 million.
4 years, 180 million for a guy who has how many playoff wins? Maybe 1?
Couple, maybe.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I that, talk about a publicist and an agent who's just worked overtime to get that guy his deal. What are we seeing, or what are we not seeing that other people are seeing?
I think Kurt has had some really great years in Minnesota, but he hasn't done above and beyond.
Yeah.
I think he's extremely tough. I think he's extremely smart.
He's tough, for sure, yeah.
Gives me the Matthew Stafford vibe.
He gives that.
Just
yeah.
That toughness of I'm
that
going to play through it.
Dog in him.
I'm going to play through it. But he doesn't have that next level in my eyes.
I agree. I just don't get it. It's like that hot girl, or not even the hot girl, but everybody says this girl's hot, and you're just looking at her going I don't get it. What am I missing here?
Yeah.
Why is everybody so just unanimously decided that this person's hot when they're not? That's how I feel about Kirk Cousins. I'm okay, good on him to get his payday and get his check, but I mean, I'm looking at him going, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe this is me.
And maybe it's more Atlanta, where they they tried to draft Ritter a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They tried Mariota, but maybe they themselves, like as an organization, have felt burned, and they're like, we know what we're gonna get with this guy.
Yeah,
maybe
I guess
we
that's
just
true.
need some stability,
Right.
and then maybe they're paying for that stability and that leadership.
I get
which is
that.
totally fine if that's
get
what they're
that.
doing. Like
Yeah.
that, I understand.
Yeah.
But if your goal is to win a Super Bowl, I don't think it's your guy. The last dude we're gonna talk about. I can't even with this guy right now. He is driving me crazy. The things I've seen on this dude.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is so cringy and so bad.
He's very weird.
Here's the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. He started off, if my memory is correct, at like NC State.
Yeah.
Then he goes to Wisconsin, finishes at Wisconsin, goes and plays in Seattle,
Yep.
wins a Super Bowl,
Yeah. Loses a Super Bowl.
loses one too. And then they're like, you know what, Russ, we're good. You're going to move on.
We're going to go in a different direction.
Right. Yes, we're going to go in a different direction. Goes to Denver.
Yeah.
Stinks it up.
Gets paid.
Gets paid.
Yeah.
Gets paid. Does some awful commercials. Sean Payton comes in. Sean Payton is like, this guy needs to go.
Yeah.
So they are eating millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars.
Yes.
And they are like, we do not care. There's the door. He releases this horrible TikTok of his alter ego being Mr. Unlimited. Can we play it?
Yeah, yeah. I've loaded this up for you because you told me about it. I hadn't seen it yet, and you brought this to me. And this is probably the worst thing that I've ever seen. This is the worst thing that's on the internet.
God awful.
We'll play it here, and we'll put it in the in this. If you're watching or if you're listening on Spotify, do yourself a favor, go on YouTube and just watch this cringy video. You'll hear the audio, but just seeing
it's gonna be the worst 59 seconds of your life.
All right, here we go.
Hey guys, Russell here. Yes, the typical boring, yes, Russell, the robot Russell, the one you guys love to know. Real exciting. Yeah, I'm real exciting. But anyways.
Just pause it. Pause it.
Everybody.
Dude, what is he?
What the hell was that?
He sounds like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Russell here. What is that?
Yeah, see? Yeah, see?
You rewatched this, Russell, and we're like, yeah, this is good. I'm going to send this out.
Was that one take or was it 2 takes, 3 takes? How many do you think he did?
Hit play.
Has to have an alter ego, right? And I've been thinking about what my alter ego would be, and I think I have an alter ego. His name.
Dude, what's up with the stuttering? What's up with the... I have to have an alter ego. I'll tell you, dude, just think of like Jeff Goldblum. Yes, I have the alter ego.
Mr. Unlimited.
Oh,
you gotta
my
be
God.
unlimited. You know, you gotta have a thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in life or where you want to go, you gotta be unlimited. Tell them, I'm unlimited. You know what I mean? So when they ask you certain questions like,
who brings you motivation, Russell?
Oh
Mr.
my God.
Unlimited.
Who's in the background saying that?
Who's your role model, Russell?
unlimited.
Who's your
Jesus.
go-to person for advice, Russell?
They think Pete Carroll, they think this person, think that person. Love you, Pete, but it's Mr. Unlimited. Tell him.
Jesus, that is so cringy.
So the things I've heard about Russell Wilson, and I've read and I've talked to other coaches and things, is that he is not a team guy. He only cares about endorsements, sponsorships, doesn't connect with anyone else on the team,
Yeah.
and is just like a complete eye guy.
But judging by that video, yeah, he is he's definitely not thinking about anything else. He doesn't I don't think he understands how cringy and how just out of touch with reality he is.
You're telling me he doesn't have one person in his inner circle to be like, Russ?
Well, she or he was involved in that video. You can hear him in the background. Oh my God, that was tough to
That
watch.
was awful.
That was horrible.
That's what you get, Pittsburgh. That's what you're going to get. Well, that's all the NFL talk that we got going on.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with some more fun stuff after this. All right, this episode is brought to you by Pro West Electrical. Pro West Electrical is owned by our friend who we went to high school with, Anthony Sabasco. He's got over 15 years of electrical experience. His company does panel replacement, do recessed lighting. They actually did all the electrical and the recessed lighting in my house. They do switches, EV chargers, Ring doorbell. They'll change a light bulb in your house if you want them to, if you pay them to.
That's right. And you can visit their website, prowestelectrical.net, or you give them a call, 714-306-1570.
Pro West Electrical, powering up your world. All right, and we are back from break. Jay Mitch has got his thinking cap on, and we are playing Family Feud, Fast Money, game that we played a couple weeks ago. You've got 25 seconds. I think that's what we agreed on last time.
Yes, that's how many seconds you had. Yes.
Right. We asked 100 people. We took a survey of 100 people, okay? And we're going to ask 10 questions here. I'm going to start the clock. Are you ready?
After you finish the first question is when you hit the clock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to know because I was going to start it right away. Yeah. All right, I was going to shortchange you.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Question 1. Name a reason you might get rid of an old family heirloom.
It's broke.
Where do kids nowadays spend most of their time?
On their phones.
Tell me something many people do just once a week.
Shopping.
Name a reason a person might wake up at 2 a.m.
Heard a noise.
Name something you might eat with a hamburger.
French fries. Those aren't bad.
That was right? Good. Those were really good. All right. That was a pretty solid round.
Thank you.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
All right. So question number 1 was name a reason you might get rid of an old family heirloom. You said broke. Survey said broken. 29 points.
29. There we go.
Question number 2, where do kids nowadays spend most of their time? You said phone. Survey said not on the list.
Oh,
we got
my
room,
gosh.
school, internet. I'm kind of tempted to give you internet. I'm going to give you internet because that is the internet
that
is on the phone. Yeah.
All right. How many points for that?
16 points there.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
I'll take it.
All right. All right. Question number 3. Tell me something many people do just once a week. You said shopping. Survey said church. That was the top one.
That makes sense.
Groceries and shopping was number 2 with 24 points.
Thank you.
Very nice.
24. Not bad.
Very
not
nice.
bad.
Question number 4. Name a reason a person might wake up at 2 a.m. You said heard a noise. Survey said heard a noise number 4 with 13 points. Top one was bathroom. Gotta take a piss. Take a piss. 24 points there, yeah. Baby child or baby/child, bad dream, and then heard a noise was number 4 there. Question number 5 was name something you might eat with the hamburger. You said French fries.
Come on. That's got to be like 80 points.
I'm going to give you the bottom one. Pickles is the bottom one, 3 points. Tater tots, 5 points. Onion rings, salad, soup. French fries, number 1, 60 points.
Oh, my goodness. Crushed it. 8,
All right.
9, 10, 11,
Set
12,
'em
13,
up.
14. That gives me 152.
152. All right, we're not going to start the clock until we ask this question. We surveyed 100 individuals to get the answers to these, starting with this next one. Name something you haven't done since high school gym class.
Climb a rope.
Climb a rope. How much do you tip for good service?
20%.
Who is the most popular character on the sitcom Friends?
Chandler.
Tell me something you can buy that costs $1 or less.
Gum.
Name a country that speaks Spanish.
Mexico.
With time to spare, look at you.
You can't get anything for less than $1.
All right, so here we go. We're going to do, we got number 6 through 10. Number 6, name something you haven't done since high school. You said rope. Survey said not on the list, unfortunately. We've got run a mile, dodgeball, push-ups, sit-ups, lift weights, swim laps. Actually, I should check this last one. Exercise. I mean, I guess I can give you 2 points for exercise if you want to take it.
I don't want it.
All right,
No
number
charity
7.
around here.
How much do you tip for good service? You said 20%. Survey said that's worth 39 points. That's the
what I'm
top
talking
answer.
about.
39 points at 20%. Who was the most popular character on the sitcom Friends? You said Chandler. Survey said 16 points.
16. Who?
Rachel is coming in at the number 1 spot
Is
with 19 points.
Rachel? Which one was she?
Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
So here's the ranking. Rachel, Joey, Ross, Chandler, Monica, Phoebe, Gunther. Gunther, I can't even believe Gunther made the list, but
Who's Gunther?
the barista at the coffee shop. All right. Next one was tell me something you can buy that costs $1 or less. You said gum. I've got
Back in like 1950s.
I'm going to give you some good news. Gum is on the list.
Okay.
It is not the top spot. It's not the second spot, nor is it the third spot or the fourth spot. It is the 5th spot.
Jeepers.
And it gives you 4 points.
What was number 1 on that?
Number 1 was fruit. I mean, you can buy an apple or a banana or an orange or something like that for $1 or less.
Huh? But who goes and buys one apple?
Not very many people. All right, last one in this round was name a country that speaks Spanish. You fumbled through that and somehow managed to get out Mexico.
Yep.
And that was the number 2 on the list. First was Spain, and Mexico coming in at number 2 with 24 points.
24.
I feel like you maybe surpassed it with that one.
I did, definitely. That puts me up to 235.
Dude,
So,
235. All right, well, you got through it. All right, ready for another round?
5 and 5.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Got to get to 200.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Name a liquid in your kitchen that you hope no one ever accidentally drinks.
Beer.
Name something that breaks down.
Puzzles
Name a famous wizard.
of Oz.
How many pairs of socks does a fast food worker wear in 1 week?
5.
Name another word for book.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
Oh, that was a tough round. Oh my gosh.
That was so bad.
That was pretty bad. All right, here we go.
Man, I might not get to 200. This is going to be...
All right. All right, here we go. We've got the answers here. Question number 1. Name a liquid in your kitchen that you hope no one ever accidentally drinks. You said beer. Survey said... That is a goose egg on that one, unfortunately. Here are the top ones. Soap, vinegar, and bacon grease.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2. Name something that breaks down. You fumbled through that and said puzzle. That's not going to be anything on there. The number 1 answer was car. Your car breaks down. Your body breaks down.
Oh,
Computer,
true that.
communication, foreign relations, and TV. But unfortunately, puzzle is not on that list. Nor should it be.
Oh, man. Okay.
All right. Question number 3. Name a famous wizard. I think
Come on.
Oz was a good answer.
Give it to me.
And it's on the list.
It's
give
not
you
number
that.
one?
Unfortunately, it's not number
Oh,
one.
it's going to be some Harry Potter guy.
You should have gone with Harry Potter. 37 points. That's the number one answer there. Merlin is the second answer. Gandalf the Wizard is number 3. Doctor Strange. And coming in at the number 5 spot is the Wizard of Oz with 8 points.
Oh, my
8
gosh.
measly points.
I didn't know
and then,
Harry. I didn't know Harry was a wizard. I thought he was just a.
He is a wizard. And then coming at the 6th spot is He Who Will Not Be Named. Voldemort is coming in with 3 points on that one.
All right.
You did not get any of those, unfortunately. But you did get 8 points on that. That's pretty good. All right. How many pairs of socks does a fast food worker wear in 1 week? You came up with that answer pretty quickly, and I was very surprised. You said 5. The top answer is 7. I mean, it's really, you got one of 7. You said 5. Top answer is 7. Second answer is 10. 10, and I don't even know how you come up with 10. You have to like change socks throughout the day. Third answer is 14. Fourth answer is 15. Fifth answer is 2.
Oh my gosh.
Sixth answer is 20, and the number 7 answer is 5. So you did get points, but it's only 3 on that one. That was a tough one, yeah. I don't know how you come up with those other answers, but it is what it is. And then the last answer, we asked, name another word for book, and you said, That was not on the list, unfortunately.
What are the answers for another name for a book?
Story, paperback, pamphlet, tome, volume, publication. All of that, admittedly, that was a very hard one, and I could not come up with the answer either. But
all right, paperback I can be down with.
Paperback was the only one.
All that other stuff,
yeah,
no way.
Paperback was the only one.
All right, I got some ground to make up.
You got a lot of ground.
I got 11 points right now.
11. You need 189 points to make up here.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. We surveyed 100 people to come up with the answer to this. Question number 1. What is the most stressful thing in the life of a 25-year-old woman?
Job.
Name a specific piece of furniture that might be handmade.
Chair.
Tell me whose name a young man might have tattooed on himself.
His mom.
Name a character from Game of Thrones.
The Mountain.
How long is an unbearable commute?
6 hours.
With 1 second to spare. Look at
commute,
you.
A commute? Oh, that's gonna
That one might come back to bite you.
I was just thinking like travel. Oh, gosh.
All right, here we go. We surveyed 100 people to get the answer to these questions. Question number 1, what is the most stressful thing in the life of a 24-year-old woman? You said job. The survey said job 26. That's the number 2 answer. Love life is the number 1 answer with 28 points.
Makes sense.
Question number 2, we asked, name a specific piece of furniture that might be handmade. You said chair. That is the number 2 answer again with 31 points. First answer was table with 41.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad, no. Number 3, tell me whose name a young man might have tattooed on himself. You said mom.
Got to be the number 1 answer.
Number 1 answer, 33 points. You're looking pretty good right now. It's not bad.
I'm up to 101. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
You might. You got 2 questions left. That 6-hour commute, although unbearable, might be a little tough. But here we go with the number 4 question. Name a character from Game of Thrones. You said the Mountain.
The only guy I know. Oh my gosh.
Fortunately, he is not on the list.
Are you kidding me?
I'll go from the bottom. Ned Stark is the bottom of the list. Sansa Stark, Jaime Lannister, Cersei Lannister, Tyrion, the dwarf, Arya Stark, Daenerys Targaryen, and the number 1 answer was Jon Snow. But it's pretty splintered. 26 points was the top one. Even if you got the top one, you still didn't really pull up too many points.
I must admit, I never watched Game of Thrones.
It is a great TV show. You should really watch it.
Yeah.
The last question, how long is an unbearable commute? You said 6 hours. And while I agree with you, that is definitely unbearable. It is nowhere on the list. The most was 2 hours, and that gave you 5 points. Everybody just came in with a just regular hour. Just an hour commute was unbearable.
I honestly, when you say commute, my brain really went back to college, and it took me 6 hours to drive home to Flagstaff, and then so
You just went with the
old just stored up here. I didn't make it.
Oh man! Well, you won round 1 and lost round 2. It was a good game. Hard fought game. Good game though, nonetheless.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's good. Hard
Thank
fought. Yeah, we'll play it again. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll come back after this.
This episode is brought to you by Cigar Spots. Cigar Spots is located in the Circle of Orange.
Yeah, they have all your big brands like Fuente, Padron, Tatuaje, Ilusión. I mean, they've got pretty much every brand that you can imagine. My favorite, my go-to is always the Tatuaje brand. I like the specific 2012 Sumatra. That's my smoke. What do you got?
Nice. I've been going with the Tatuaje Red Label.
Yeah, Red Label's good. So they do at-home delivery. You can place your order online, and they'll deliver your cigars straight to your house. Or you can order for pickup. You can actually order online, and then they'll have it ready for you. You can just swing in, put some hazards on, and go and pick up your cigars and be done.
And don't forget the promo code.
Promo code Tony Joe when you check out, and get yourself 20% off your order. So visit cigarspots.com and use that promo code Tony Joe. All right, we are back from break. All right, J. Mitch. I want to go into just a recent thing that happened to me. We were in escrow. So during the escrow process, you have a lot of things that are going on, but one of the things that you have to really just kind of like the hurdles that you have to get through is the appraisal. Now, the appraisal, just to kind of give you just like a straight, like, here's what it is. The bank wants to ensure that the money that they're going to be lending you is going to a property and the price that you're going to be buying the house for kind of coincides with the market value of the house. Okay. So I'll just use kind of an extreme. If you want to buy a house, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Orange, and you say, I'm going to pay $2 million for this house, and you're going to get a loan for that amount. If the bank comes back and says, we're going to send somebody out there to verify that that's the value of this house, and they come back and say, hey, this house isn't worth it. It's worth 1.2, 1.3. There's a big discrepancy here. That appraisal is there to protect the bank in the event that you can't make the payments on your house and it ends up going into foreclosure. They can sell it on the market and recoup whatever money that they've lent gave you to buy the house.
So the bank sends somebody out.
Yeah. It's a third party. After like 2008, there was a lot of screwy business that went on before 2008 when that whole market collapse happened. And essentially there was a lot of people that were going in, just kind of getting paid, through the like backdoor channels, and they were appraising houses for whatever it is. They had no, they weren't going to, if they needed the house to appraise for $50,000 over what the market value was, they would do that. That all changed. There's a lot of regulations that happened after that to ensure that no screwy business was going on. So if you had an appraisal come back, and it was under what the price that you were going to buy the house for, your purchase price, if it came back under, well, now there's a discrepancy there and you need to figure it out. You can do one of three things. One, you could renegotiate the contract price. Let's say that in that scenario where
with the seller.
With the seller.
Okay.
So let's say that you went out and you said, I want to buy this house for $2 million. They had it listed for 1.5, and you just wanted to beat out every other offer, and you just want to be done with it. I'm going to offer $2 million. That's what you're approved for.
Okay.
The appraisal came back and said, hey, it's not valued at $2 million. It's valued at 1.5. Where they priced it at is accurate. Now, at that point, you need to do one of three things. You can renegotiate. You can say, all right, hey, you need to come back down. We're going to renegotiate the price, the purchase price. Instead of paying $2 million for this house, I'm going to pay 1.5. That's what the appraisal came back at. That's what my lender is going to lend on.
So that's option one.
That's option one. Option two is you just pay the difference between what your purchase price, what the contract price is, and the price that it's been assessed or appraised. So in this scenario, the appraisal comes back, it's 1.5 million, it's not 2 million. There's a $500,000 gap that you have to make up. Now, this is a very extreme example.
And then do I pay that to the bank?
Yeah, so you have to make up the difference in cash, not to the bank, but in order to make up the difference from what the bank is going to lend you and what the purchase price is.
Okay, so I would have to come up with 500 on my own.
So
I got you.
Escrow is like the third party that just kind of just calls balls and strikes. So they're the referee. Yeah. They get this contract that says Joe is going to purchase this house for $2 million. Now, we don't care. Escrow doesn't care where the money comes from. They just want to make sure that the $2 million comes in.
It's there. Okay.
Now, when the appraisal comes in, the bank cannot loan 1 penny over what the appraisal comes in at. So if the appraisal comes back at $1.5 million, the purchase price is $2 million, there's a $500,000 discrepancy on what needs to be made up. Now, for escrow, they don't care if it comes out of cash. They don't care if it comes out of your retirement fund. They don't care. It doesn't matter where that money gets made up, so long as it gets made up in order to fulfill the obligation of the contract. Now, during that process, you could the sellers can either say, "Hey, listen, we have a whole line of buyers that are behind you that have the ability to make up the cash, to make up that discrepancy. We're going to go back to them." Or they can just go, "You know what? We don't want to mess with any of the other buyers. We don't know where they stand. We know where you stand. Let's renegotiate. Let's just kind of move this thing forward."
Okay. So what's the third option?
Third option is, it's kind of like the nuclear option. Nobody can kind of come to an agreement and you just pull out of the deal. Now, in that option, you do have to have your contingency in place, the appraisal contingency.
Okay. What does that mean?
That means that you have this safeguard that says if the appraisal doesn't come back to that number, then we can still back out of the contract and get our deposit back. So at that point, it's the least...
for the example, so $2 million?
Yeah, so in that example, let's say the purchase price was $2 million. The appraisal came back at 1.5. The sellers don't want to negotiate down and get it down to the lower number, and the buyers just aren't willing to make up that difference in cash. Then at that point, everybody just kind of walks away from the deal. Okay. And just says, you know what, we're not going to come to an agreement. Let's just agree to walk away from this. Let's let somebody else come in and figure out if they can make this work.
So when the appraisal is happening, they're looking at like the quality of the house, the location of the house, the ins and outs,
everything,
AC, you name it, and they just kind of just start checking it off and seeing.
Yeah, it's all of those things. So they look at comparable properties in the area that have sold, comparable properties that are on the market. Everything is taken into consideration to see if that number makes sense for everybody. Now, if the comparable properties in the area have sold for, in this scenario, the top one is $1 million, and you can take this property and compare it to the other one and say, hey, this is like, apples to apples, and it only sold for $1 million. We can't justify appraising it for 1.5 or 2 million or whatever it is. It's more in line with this one. Now, there are some scenarios where just not a lot of houses have sold in the area, so there's not like a metric to go off of, and then that kind of skews the numbers a little bit. But for the most part, you gather up all the information and say, this is the number that we think that this property is worth, and it's all based on just the bank's safety and making sure that if the loan is defaulted, that they can like recoup their money. There is a kind of like last ditch effort, which is not very. It's not something that is ideal. And the situation is, let's say you're in contract, you got your offer accepted, we got your offer accepted on a house. You put in a $2 million offer. It appraised for 1.5. I mean, those are some big numbers. So let's just kind of make it more realistic. The house was $1 million. You put in $1 million offer, but it got appraised at $975. Now, you don't want to come up with $25,000 cash out of pocket. The lender is the person who orders the appraisal. Now, you can have it. You can say, "Hey, I really want you to reconsider what the offer or what the prices are in this area. Maybe something closed like just recently that's going to affect the price." You can add that in there and say, "Please, like reassess and tell me if you can bring this number up to the asking price, considering that a house sold in the area just recently. Maybe that house sold after the appraisal took place, and he didn't have that in his, in the equation.
Yeah.
Or last ditch effort is go with another lender, and another lender might have an appraiser that looks at this situation a little bit differently. Now, the reality of these situations is these are people just like you and I who go out, they make their assessment, and that's their judgment. But no two people look at properties the same. Somebody might take into consideration that, hey, this is on a corner lot. It has X, Y, or Z. And, for that reason, we think that this property is valued a little bit more. It's a very kind of like analog way of kind of assessing properties. It's a way to protect the banks, but also it's a way to just give some checks and balances to the system. And, ultimately, if they decide, if an appraiser decides that the property is not worth what the purchase price is, he can put the kibosh on the whole deal and just say, we're not going to, the bank's not going to fund this loan because you try to price this too high and there's nothing to support that. So it is a check, it is a balance, but it also is something that, is something to consider when you're making an offer, because you can go in there and go all in and go 100,000 over asking, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get the appraisal, and you might run into some, something later on where you have to come up out of pocket or just kind of renegotiate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode. We went through everything. We crossed our T's and dotted our I's. I think we're ready to call it. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Real in the Field. Thank you always to Blake Means for the theme music. And we'll be back soon for another episode. Thank you.